Well, it's gonna be a while, but looks like I'll be taking down this room and getting it going pretty soon. In the next 2 months or so. It's one of my favorite rooms, as you all know. I do love this room, but it's going to feel really good getting this room remodeled. I'm going to be doing most of the work. The only thing that needs to be done is this wall right here that has to be knocked down. I really wish my father never would have put that safe in the wall, because that has to get cut out. Something has to be held there temporarily, because the beam structure would fall, and you don't want that. I didn't realize that when you do something like that, you have to replace the beam structure. I'm hoping the whole thing doesn't have to come down, but you know, who I'm gonna hire to do this is my neighbors, since they do stuff like that. I know a little bit of the work, but nothing too crazy or to a full extent. I know the door I'll be doing myself. That's easy. The wood filler, mud work, I'll be handling myself too. But it's gonna feel good getting this done. And then my room. Yeah. I'm not even gonna show my room, but it's gonna feel really good getting this going. And everything. I can't explain to you the feeling. The only thing, the only thing, like, a lot of it's going to be original, just fresh coat of paint. The floor is going to stay. The floor will stay. I already know what I have to buy for it. I gotta get tubs and everything too. I gotta make sure. I got boxes, but I gotta make sure a lot of stuff is going to be heavily protected. Downstairs is not the downstairs basement has a lot of issues. It's so dry, a bit moist. There's really no escape for a lot of stuff down there, as far as like the moisture, the heat, the climate conditions. The basement wasn't properly built when we had it checked out about 4 years ago. There should have been a drainage pipe installed. There never was. Especially going on a house that's like 60 years old, it should have had it. There's a lot of cracks, a lot of heavy mold. Unfortunately, it floods, and unfortunately, because the house is like in the middle of a hill, and when it rains, the house to one part starting to sink. There is some piping with plumbing work that needs to be done down there. But I say that because the stuff that I have down there, I gotta keep very, very heavily protected. Because once certain things get exposed to elements for so long, that's it. Because coming up soon, all the Halloween decorations, unfortunately, a lot of them decayed, molded, and it's really hard to keep animatronics in mint condition. It really is not the easiest thing to do. There are some things, and I mean some, I mean a very small percentage of some things down there in those decorations that are salvageable, which is great. Some speakers, a projector, 2 electronics, some headstones. That's about it. I'm surprised the Christmas stuff is good because, you know, those are sitting on pallets, and more protected than anything. My bad, I accidentally hit the button. But more protected than anything. So imagine the length of protection that I have to go through to make sure these don't mold away. But because this room doesn't need a lot done to it, it's not going to take me that long compared to my room. And I have to find somebody that knows how to do floor work. I know a little bit of it, but I hate it. Some of the work that I really hate doing is flooring. I hate doing cement work. I'm not a fan of it. Brick work. Electrical work, and plumbing. I'm just not a fan of those 5 things. Those are things that I would hire somebody to do. Because I dealt with that. I had to do it several times, and I'm just not fond of it. And so it's like, yeah, I'm not going to even bother to touch any of it like that. Things like a bit of drywall work, mud work, filler, sanding, painting, coating, staining. That I don't mind doing, lifting, moving. One of the pain in the asses, there's 2 safes that are mounted on this wall I gotta unmount that I had to help my dad with before he passed. And I helped him install them safes years ago. And those are the lightest, but then I gotta unhook these and haul these downstairs because I gotta be able to make room. And, moving and hauling saves, for those that have done it, then it's not the easiest thing to do. There's a lot of grunt work involved, you can say. But it's gonna feel real good getting this room going. I'm gonna try to document much as I can when working on these 2 rooms with my other phone that's not the best right now. I need new recording, filming stuff, if you will. I want to try to get back into that, try to travel, do some adventures as well. But that's what I'm going to try to do. I might have to do it with this phone, with my main phone, more than anything. But it's going to feel real good to get this going. Finally, getting some help with that financially, which is okay. I'm going halfway. The person that's going to help me is going to go halfway. I'm going to make sure they hold to their word to it. My room, I'm going to tackle myself because I qualify for a loan. I'm going to be stuck paying back at least $15,000 because $15,000 is going to be, $10,000 I got to pay back plus another $5,000, which would be $15,000 because of that interest rate. And right now there's just certain things going because we'll be pretty much selling the house, moving, because the taxes on this house, man, are getting worse, and it's being raised up. And it's time for this house to go, because I know the whole point of having a home is to make money. But let's be honest, sometimes that's not always the case, and a lot of times your home causes you to lose money. And especially when you only bring in not even close to 30,000 a year, and you live off a monthly income, taking care of a parent, not the easiest thing to do, you know, and you're the only one that brings in an income. And eventually, it's true what they say, eventually you're going to have to pull that trigger, as it were, and, you gotta let it go, and trying to find cheaper living conditions. Let's keep that shit real, man. It's not the easiest thing to do. So a lot of this is gonna have to stay in storage, because I refuse to sell these things in here, even though I would get offers quite often, but there are just some things of sentimental value and history that can't be for sale. I got this yesterday, like $50. I looked it up. It's worth $50. It's leather. It's from New Mexico. It's called the Mexican Trail. I am not Hispanic or Spanish or Mexican or Latino in any sense. If you know me, you know that I am Native American, and also part black, as well as part Italian, Egyptian, and white. But mainly, I identify, for those that look at the pictures, my family's mainly Native American and black. But I like this. And I do have some Mexican friends. Somebody who I talk to, she's a woman who's Latino. Trying to work something out with that. But I like this, and I can respect it for what it is. But, maybe, hopefully, by some, God-given miracle, maybe something will come of it to where I'll be able to keep the house. I may have no choice but to. But, this house, unfortunately, ain't really worth anything. And a lot of people are like, what do you mean? Well, the land is worth $200,000. The house is only worth $80,000, right? So you're almost looking at $300,000. But let's be honest, the housing market is not the best right now. Not the best. So I would only have to settle for $100,000. I would have to pay 25% of that money sold from the house with the property to the IRS, because they gotta take the money from that from taxes, and only walk away between $15,000 to $5,000. Yeah. This house with the property ain't really worth anything. It may say so on paper, but if you look at the reality aspect of it, especially living down south, yeah, it's not going to be worth anything, especially places that were built on farmland, places that were built on ranch land. So you can pretty much buy the fucking property for like $500. But I might have to keep the house anyways, because a lot of places here are so expensive with rent. For example, your trailers are almost $3,000 now. Your apartments are hitting close to $2,500. And the house for like a rent, You know, you're almost doubling that. The same that you would with a mortgage these days. I don't know, I think it'd just be best to keep it because unfortunately my area, they don't take people on Social Security for rent at all. At all. I don't know, I guess I have to see what comes with it, but when the last time I'll see this room like this, because I'm gonna get it worked on. Unfortunately, when remodeling the kitchen and bathroom and living room at 4 years ago, it brought more of the value down as well. So when you do remodel something, what I come to learn, a place can lose its financial value as well, like that. And some people's like, oh, well, is the house in a historical district? No. The town that I live in is a historical district town, but no neighborhoods.